If we move to the next slide here, slide 11, you can see the log here that outlines the significant oil and gas potential areas. This well has started producing at the bottom of this hole. It's doing about 100 BOE per day. Those were not the main zones that were targeted. This is sort of a bonus area. And as this first deepest zone completes, we'll begin moving up the hole, or rather Gulf South, who is the operators on this, will begin moving up the hole and tapping into these other productive areas. So this looks to be a very successful well. We'll be getting cash flow from this in the next month or so here as it's tied in. Based on the success of Lafourche, we were presented with a second opportunity with Gulf South. It's the Pearsall-Austin Chalk formation in Texas, and this is a horizontal opportunity. Again, through our work with them, we felt it represented an outstanding opportunity. We took a little bigger piece, and we just announced our participation in this project this morning. We think it has tremendous potential. Our working interest is 25%. This is something, this field actually has been quite prolific and quite historic. The average well here produces about 170,000 barrels. The infrastructure is in place, so we have high expectations for this as well. There's a tremendous amount of history here in Pearsall, going back all the way to 1935. Horizontal drilling has been quite prolific here and quite successful in this field. There are other opportunities following this first well, assuming it's successful, to drill for the working interest partners to drill and participate in additional wells. So if this first well on Pearsall is successful, we believe that there are several other opportunities to participate in here as well. Very high completion rate tends to mean that when wells are drilled, they are successful more often than not. Future opportunities, I think in this area with these partners would look very similar to the ones I've just described. We are discussing with other local partners as well, local operators, in terms of building out a portfolio approach to the types of opportunities we get involved with. These are all firms that know their local areas very well, have extensive databases of both production and exploration history that's taken place in these areas. So the level of information and data that you have when making these decisions is quite high as opposed to greenfields exploration. So we think it's a great strategy with minimal risk to build cash flow quite quickly. We'll give you an idea of this next slide. Will give you an idea of what a typical well looks like in the Gulf area. They tend to pay out quite quickly, and with numerous pay zones, similar to what we saw before. So you can start with one level, move up, and these are the types of opportunities we're chasing here. Our team is a very experienced one. My background as the president is more on the financial side, but we've got some excellent people here with significant oil and gas experience. Doug Bartoli is the CEO of Vero Energy, a TSX-listed oil and gas producer. Doug is very well known throughout Western Canada. Has worked with some extremely successful companies, as Vero is an extremely successful company. Doug Stuvey is a lawyer and finance specialist out of Calgary, and I want to highlight Ian Cahoon, who's come on to join us and head up our exploration. Ian is very familiar with this type of work in terms of going into existing fields, redeveloping, reworking, and recompleting fields and zones that have a lot of data on them. And he's really been the guy that has pounded the table on these first two opportunities that we just discussed. We have experienced some success at Lafourche. We're about to start drilling at Pearsall, and there's another 4 or 5 immediate projects in the pipeline that we're evaluating right now. So I would expect that you'll see us be very active in terms of continuing our involvement and activity in the U.S. Gulf region. just in summary, we have an interesting opportunity here, I think, in New Sage as a restructured company, starting with a clean slate. We've got a great board. We've got a unique opportunity with respect to other oil and gas public companies that I think you're going to come across. We've got established, experienced partners locally, and our strategy here essentially is to build cash flow quickly with a minimal level of risk, and so far it's looking like a pretty good strategy. So that concludes our presentation. I want to thank you for joining us. I would encourage all of you to take this opportunity now to post any questions if you're watching this at its scheduled time. For those of you watching outside the scheduled time, please post your questions, and we will come back later in due course and respond to those as well. Thank you very much.